Hey everybody, it's Claire. Hope y'all are doing well. I know I haven't talked to y'all in a little bit. I've been here, as you can see. This is like real life display of what most of us are experiencing. My daughter has set up school in my office, and it's been an interesting 6 months. So I just wanted to check in. I know Live Action recently did a piece on my story and my survival. And so some of you may be new followers. Thanks for hearing my story and caring enough to want to know more and joining me on my social media. Excited to have you. So I guess, just for a little background for those that are new, I found out about my abortion survival 10 years ago, realized that this was happening to other people, realized that my birth mother was not the only woman in the world who regretted her abortion so deeply and was harmed by the abortion industry. Realized, just the big picture of what was happening with abortion, with babies like me, like I was, women like my birth mother, families like mine and yours, and realized that I really had to do something. And so for the past 10 years, I've been sharing my story across the country. I speak at a lot of fundraisers for pregnancy centers. I've also had the opportunity to work a little bit legislatively with senators and representatives on the state levels. I had the opportunity to be a part of a press conference for Congress when the Born Alive bill was being blocked on the floor by Nancy Pelosi. And I've had the opportunity to speak at a lot of educational events. And so I have been very fortunate to be able to use my story, my survival, and be able to point back to the humanity of the unborn baby, to the unjustness of women being told that they have to have an abortion in order to live their life, in order to be happy, in order to be successful, what abortion really is, what it really does, what it really takes away from us. And I tell people often that if they can look at an abortion survivor's face, they are looking at what abortion does. Abortion ends the life of a human being like me and like you. And so it's been an incredible it's been 11 years now almost since I met my for sure 11 years since I met my birth mother, but almost 11 years since I started sharing my story, because Abby Johnson just had her 11th anniversary of leaving her job at Planned Parenthood. And it was just a couple weeks after that I walked through the same doors that she walked into when she quit her job, the doors of the local Coalition for Life. And I decided to share my story. And soon after that, I started speaking a little bit. And so it's been almost 11 years. And I feel like right now, what we're living in, that this is the most important time in history to stand for life. And what we're looking at right now, even with the presidential race and the debates that have been happening, what we're seeing is that there is this drastic difference of one candidate, the president, being willing to stand for life and one not. And so I feel like right now in our country that we have to take a stand, and we have to stand for life, because lives are literally on the line. Lives like my twins lives like mine, lives like people in your family. What I found out when I met my birth mother was that 1 in 3 women at that time were having an abortion. And my story related to abortion wasn't that I had personally had an abortion. It was that I had been affected by abortion in what I thought was a unique way. which I've found out through meeting other survivors that it's not as unique as I thought, that there are multiple that I've been in contact with. There are hundreds across the country that have reached out to a survivor for support. And so what I found out, big picture, is that not only were 1 in 3 women having an abortion, but far more than that were being affected by abortion in some way, whether they knew it or not. Like me, I didn't know for 21 years until I met my birth mother and found out that I survived the abortion that took the life of my twin. And so many of us have been affected by abortion, whether we know it or not, and the ramifications of that are huge. For example, I have a 7-year-old daughter, and she's responsible for that mess over there. But can you imagine that if that abortion had successfully taken my life, that wouldn't be possible because she wouldn't be here. And so this conversation about abortion that we are kind of having right now, but for so many years has been silent, has not been a conversation that people are willing to have, willing to think about. It's kind of like when children are being hurt and we see it on our news feed on social media, we just keep scrolling because we don't want to know about it. And that's been kind of this how it's been with abortion. People don't want to know about it, and so they simply don't educate themselves about it. They don't know, or if they do know, they know a lie that's been told to them. And so we as a country, as communities, as families, there has never been a more important time than to have the conversation about life. And I think that there are so many things in that are happening right now that we can see and look to and use as a tool to start that conversation. I've seen as pregnancy centers have continued their work in their community. I've been so incredibly blessed to, after about 6 months of not being a part of speaking events and fundraisers and getting to hear about all the incredible things that organizations that are working for life, for women and families and children in their community, what they're doing. There was about 6 months where I wasn't able to do that. And I've been blessed as I've been able to get back out there and do some virtual events and a couple in-person events, because the work of life-saving ministries like pregnancy centers, like adoption agencies, like maternity homes, like pro-life activism groups, like prayer movements in front of abortion facilities, the work goes on. And right now is the most important time to be doing something about life in our history. We're seeing, well, we've seen some incredible strides over the past few weeks. We saw as Trump released a letter to pro-life leaders across the country that reinforced his promise to us to value and pass pro-life legislation, to appoint pro-life leaders to the Supreme Court, and to uphold his promise to the American people that he would protect our right to life. And he released that letter, and then we saw as he delivered on that promise twice after that, as he released his executive order that literally protects my life as an abortion survivor. What this does is it says that if a baby is born alive, regardless of circumstance, regardless of gestational age, that baby will be given proper medical care, life-saving medical care. And this is so important because you're looking at an abortion survivor. You've probably heard stories of other abortion survivors, and we know that the ones that are outspoken we are not alone, that there are thousands of others that we're just waiting to hopefully be able to support as they learn their story or as they speak up about their story. And so this bill humanizes the abortion survivor in giving that baby, regardless of circumstance, the right to medical care, and the right to life-saving medical care after they survive an abortion, or regardless of the circumstance or the gestational age. And so I was cheering and so thankful for Trump, who used his authority to do this after this bill, not the exact same bill, but a similar bill called the Born Alive Act was blocked by Nancy Pelosi over, I believe, 80 times. It might have been 90 times. And so I was thankful for that. And then we saw as he elected Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. He nominated her, and we know that her hearings will start tomorrow. And so we need to be praying for her. She has a track record, incredible track record of being just and judging according to the Constitution, upholding the Constitution. And we know that in the Constitution, it says that every single American has the right to life. And so I'm excited about her nomination, and I know that you as well are praying for her. We are entering into an incredible time in history right now, and lives are on the line. And we know that opposition and people who scream for choice, that they are fighting on overtime right now. They're working on overtime to make sure that abortion stays legal, to make sure that abortion is available on demand, to make sure that our country does not know the truth that abortion hurts people like me and people like you, the truth that abortion takes the life of a living human being like my twin. And so I just wanted to hop on here and just kind of encourage you, because I know what it feels like to be on the verge of like, okay, maybe I'm going to do it. Maybe I'm going to jump into it. Maybe I'm going to choose to do the right thing, but I'm scared. I feel totally out of control, and I don't know how this is going to turn out. I know what that's like. But I also know what it's like when you jump and when you trust God and when you put things into His hands that seem bigger and messier and more controversial than anything you've ever been involved in, but it's good and it's right and it's truthful. And I've watched as I've seen people do that, so many other pro-life leaders and faith leaders and people, just regular people like me and like you, as they've said, okay, God, I'm ready to take a stand. I'm ready to stand for what's right. I'm ready to speak truth and love. I'm ready to boldly say, I am going to vote for life. I'm going to pray for those who are doing something about life across the country. I'm going to have the difficult conversation. I'm going to unashamedly be pro-life, as Vice President Mike Pence said in his debate the other night, that he is pro-life and he will never apologize for it. That is where we need to be as a country. We need to be unashamedly pro-life, and we need to fight for our religious freedom, fight for our right to life, and fight to uphold the Constitution, to empower women that they can be mothers and that they can have their life and be successful too. And so I wanted to encourage you that it's going to take every single one of us. Every single one of us have got to take a stand. And we have got to do it boldly. And we have got to speak truth and love. There has never in our history been a more important time. And so I'm calling on you to take the stand, to take the lead in your community, and to stand for truth and stand for life. And by doing that, I'm calling you, I'm asking you, I'm begging you as an abortion survivor to vote for the only candidate who is standing for life, and that is President Donald Trump. I hope y'all all have an incredible weekend, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.